Welcome back to the Brandmerry channel, where we are sharing personal branding and marketing strategies to help you increase your revenue and impact. I'm Michelle Knight, founder and CEO of Brandmerry.com, and today I'm going to give you a marketing strategy. This entire video is all about stealing my strategy and giving you a step-by-step marketing strategy specifically designed for solopreneurs. So if you don't have a giant team or you're working with a single contractor, this video is for you. So the first thing that I want to talk about is the fact that there are four very, very important key pieces to a strong marketing strategy. Piece number one is strategy, right? Strategy or systems, you could say. This is getting the strong foundation in place so that you can show up and you can market your business consistently, and that you have the pieces in place that are going to not only bring in new leads, but also convert those leads into email subscribers and paying clients. The second part is awareness. Now, this is where you're making sure that you're touching on all those stages of the buying process and that people are constantly learning about you and your brand. This is typically where all those cold subscribers are coming in, people who maybe find your blog on Google or see a pin that you created on Pinterest or a video on YouTube. And they're coming in not knowing you previously and becoming aware of your brand and how you ultimately support your clients. The third piece is attraction. Now, attraction is where someone's aware of you and they've moved into being attracted to your brand, right? This is where the magnetic energy starts to build, and they're ultimately at that phase where they want more. They want to learn more. This is where having a lead generation piece in place is so important, because the people who are ready for more can buy or join your email list, where they might move a little bit further through the customer buying process. And finally, number four is connection. This is where you are ultimately connecting and building trust through your marketing efforts and leading people to the sale. So think about it as an upside down triangle where you've got cold leads coming in the top through awareness, moving into the second phase, warming up a little bit, being attracted, into the bottom phase where they feel that connection and they are ready to purchase. All of that is part of your marketing strategy. And again, making sure that you have the systems and the solid strategy in place so that all of those pieces work very effortlessly together. Now it's time to steal my strategy. Just like I promised you, I'm going to share with you this 7-piece marketing strategy that I want you to write down, pen and paper, whatever, come back, pause this video, come back, watch it again when you've got yourself set up, because I want you to fill in your individual pieces for each of these 7 steps. All right. Step number one, part of the systems piece of it, is create your workflow. One of the things that gets entrepreneurs so freaking hung up is the idea of consistently showing up. But there is a way to fix this, and that is making sure that your system and your workflow is established. Now, I teach this workflow inside of Brandmerry Academy. I also have a freebie for you if you want to just dip your toes in the water a little bit. You can go to brandmerry.com/repurpose, where I teach you how to master the art of repurposing and create a workflow for your content that you can repeat week after week after week. This is the same workflow that you have heard me talk about numerous times in my videos, where I take a video like the one you're watching today, I use that, I post it on multiple platforms, Facebook, Instagram, I repurpose it on YouTube, I transcribe that and turn it into a blog, I share that blog on Pinterest, I share that blog in my email, I share that blog on social media. I make sure that I am extending the life of my content. And you want to create this workflow very early on so you understand where are you going to be showing up with your marketing efforts and how often are you going to be showing up with your marketing efforts. And that is going to allow you to create a workflow, again, that you can just plug various content topics in and repeat week after week after week. So number one, create your workflow. Again, something we talk about and cover in great detail inside of the Academy, but you can also get your hands on a small portion of that at brandmerry.com/repurpose if you just want to dip your toe in the water. All right, number two is making sure that you have your lead magnet set up. This is part of that systems phase again, but as you start to build that brand awareness, as you start to attract more people to your brand and your business, you want a way for them to stay in contact with you. It is not enough to say, hey, just follow me here. I hope you actually see my stuff. We want to make sure that we have a way to email our email subscribers, right? This is where you're able to talk about your products and your offers more effortlessly because these people actually want to hear from you, right? So the second thing that you want to do when setting up your marketing strategy is make sure that you have a lead magnet established. This includes making sure that you have that free gift that you're ultimately going to give somebody, whether that's a PDF, a video, an audio, a quiz, something like that. You want a way to capture their information, so a landing page or an opt-in page. Those two pieces, those two languages kind of interchange quite a bit. And you can do that on ConvertKit, which is the email platform that I love to use in my business. There are a lot of options for that. And then ultimately a way to send them the lead magnet via email and then put them into a nurture sequence where they get to learn more about you, your mission, your brand, and ultimately how you are going to support them, as well as offering up your product or your service in that email sequence. You don't have to wait. Like, we can do it right away. That's totally fine because, again, there are people who might be further along in the buying process and ready to invest. But having your lead magnet established early on is so important because as your marketing picks up, and it can take off very, very quickly, you want a way to capture those leads. So that is number 2. All right, number 3, these are all part of the systems, my friends, is your website. Now, one of the things that I teach over here at Brandmerry, specifically inside of Brandmerry Academy, is the power of a website. And I know a lot of people will sit there and tell you that your website isn't important. But here's the thing. Your website is a home base for your expertise. And when you use the strategies that we teach, like SEO, where you don't have to show up and post every single day on Instagram, or utilizing search engines like Pinterest, where you can extend the life of your blog post and make sure that you're driving traffic to your blog for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years down the line, then your website is important. Now, if you want to show up every single day on Instagram and post all of the time and just convert those people into sales, and that feels like a good strategy for you, go for it. I'm all about it. But I've seen a lot of entrepreneurs who follow that strategy and struggle a bunch, where they're like, well, I have all these subscribers, but nobody's actually buying from me. And that is why we teach the strategies that we teach for evergreen content over here at Brandmerry. And so with those strategies, it's important to have a home base or have your website established. Now, it can be very, very simple to start, and you can continue to add on to it as you go. But this includes, very simply, a home page where you have your lead magnet, where you tell people a little bit about who you are and who you serve, and you can link to your product, right? It can be super simple. Having a page that shares your product or your service with a link to purchase, or a link to book a call, or a link to submit an application, your story, your about me, and your blog. And you can have your website set up in no time because, as we know, it's not about perfection, right? It's about putting it out there, and you can continue to add to it and build. So this, again, is one of the things that we teach inside of the Academy. In fact, there's an entire brand new course all about creating your website where I walk you through step by step by step what pages to have and what to include on them, and that's yours when you're inside of the Academy. So if you're like, Michelle, I really don't know what to do with my website, even though I just gave you some of the pages so you absolutely could start, know that we share all the nitty-gritty details and how to over there. So step 3 is creating a simple website. Think of it as a home base where you're going to be sending your evergreen traffic so that you don't have to show up on social media every single day, multiple times a day. Exhausting. All right, number 4, start your blog. Please, please, please start your blog from the get-go. This is going to be really powerful for you because, again, it's allowing you to create strong content on your website so people can learn a little bit more about you. You can then utilize SEO, so you can show up in Google, you can utilize other SEO platforms, and, little hint, if you have your workflow set up, you're creating long-form blog content, which you can then cherry pick pieces out and put on social media or email your list or create a small movie, create a small reel about. And so because you're creating a long-form content right out of the gate, you're actually giving yourself smaller chunks of content that then you can put out on various platforms. And so having a blog in the beginning is really really powerful. Now, if you're not someone who likes to write, don't think of blogging as just this like one way, okay, I have to write an entire post every single week. There are a lot of different ways that you can create blog content. One of them, writing the blog. Okay, check, did that one. The second one is how I create my blog posts, which start as videos. So I create a video because I happen to enjoy video content more, transcribe that, turn that into a blog. Another option is a podcast. Maybe you want to have a podcast. You can transcribe that and put it onto the blog. So I'm not saying that you can't also start with video or start with podcasting, but because we're going for a simple strategy, bare bones, you need a blog. And you want to have that blog and you want to have it started right away. If you're like, I can do video and blog, then let's do it. Let's go for it. That's why that workflow that we designed in the first part is important. And you can get yourself into a system and you can use awesome marketing tools to just streamline your energy. All right. Oh, one more thing about number 4, the blog, is that it's important to have that text. I just want to drive this home. A lot of people will blog and then they'll leave their content on their blog and they'll just like cross their fingers and hope that it all works out. But you can use that long form content to create multiple other pieces of content to then show up on social media. You could take an entire blog post, pull out individual sentences, and have an entire month's worth of content for Twitter. There's a lot of really strategic ways to extend the life of your content. So start with the long form and then you can thank me later. All right, number 5 is to integrate Pinterest. So I talk a lot about SEO. It was last week's video, actually, if you want to check that out. Pinterest is a search engine optimized platform, meaning that it uses keywords to rank your content. And people are going there typing in very specific questions. Travel tips, right? That's like what I use Pinterest for all the time. Content creation tips, okay? And then if I create content or I'm a content creator, then I might have a blog post about that that's going to show up. That's why Pinterest is a more powerful platform than some of the social media platforms like Instagram or Facebook, where people aren't specifically going to solve their problem. Pinterest users are further along in the buying process as opposed to Instagram or Facebook. They're ready, they know their problem, they're seeking out solutions, and they're ready to purchase. Where on the other platforms, you're just like throwing content out there and hoping that it hits the right person, right? So integrating Pinterest is really powerful. Now, I'm not going to do an entire video on Pinterest. It is a whole strategy in and of itself. But if you're serious about marketing and you're ready to use this platform, which I highly recommend, we teach it inside of Brandmerry Academy. It is an entire monthly marketing mini course learning how to use Pinterest effectively in your business. We're talking thousands and thousands of monthly traffic, anywhere from 1,000 to what we see over here at Brandmerry, upwards of 25,000 website viewers a month. So Pinterest is a powerful tool to support you in doing just that. You've got the blog, now integrate Pinterest so you can create that consistent traffic to your blog. I'll give you a little sneak peek on Pinterest, okay? Because like I said, it is an entire strategy, and I would be doing you a disservice to say that it's one piece and then you're going to just magically be successful, right? Here's the one little piece that I will give you. When you create your blog content, create anywhere between 5 and 6 Pinterest pin size variations of your title. So let's say you titled your blog 3 ways to improve your content creation. Go to Canva, choose the Pinterest template, make 5 individual pages, design them all just a little bit different, change out your brand colors, put a photo back there, maybe change the text a little bit, and then put different variations of your title on those images. So one could be 3 tips to improve your content creation. One could be, want to improve your content creation? Read my 3 tips here. Another one could be the number 1 tip you need to know about utilizing tools to improve your content creation, right? You can change them up, you can change colors, but have 5 different variations and then schedule those to release over the first week or 2 when your blog gets out into the public. This is going to allow you to create fresh content on Pinterest, which is important when it comes to utilizing Pinterest. All right. So number 5, you're stealing my marketing strategy. Number 5 is to integrate Pinterest. Now, number 6, if you haven't done this already, right, if you're not doing a Michelle over here where you start with video, this is where you get to incorporate video. And this is where social media does come into play just a little bit. But we're using video, which will allow you to reach more people because these platforms love video. Now, you don't necessarily have to do video on Instagram or Facebook. You could use YouTube as well. But hey, if you're creating the video, why not put it out there on a bunch of different platforms so you make sure that you get in front of your ideal customer? Right? You already have the piece of content. Now let's get it out there. So the next step is to start integrating video. Video could look like what you're watching right now, which is an entire video that I record that I put on Facebook and Instagram every single week. Video could look like using Instagram stories, because those work incredibly well for moving people through the buying process, building trust, and leading them to the sale. Let's not forget our friends' Instagram Reels or TikTok videos, these short form videos that are highly educating and highly entertaining, do really well, and these platforms love to push these types of videos out. So no matter what you're doing in your business, no matter what feels good for you, figure out a way to incorporate video at this stage so that you can start to build that know, like, and trust factor with your audience. All right, and then finally, number 7, I had to think about my fingers. Number 7 is figure out and design your weekly touch base with your growing audience. Now, if you remember back to number 2, where we talked about your lead magnet, and if you remember back to the 4 pieces where we talked about strategy and awareness and attraction and connection, it's important that if you're growing this email list that you are actually emailing them, and not just when you want to sell something, but emailing them and letting them know what's happening. We tend to, as marketers, think that everyone sees our content the first time that we put it out there, but that's just not true. You want to make sure that you're getting in front of your audience and that we're hitting them wherever they are. Our audience is busy, they've got a lot going on, and they've got a lot of information coming their way. So if someone has said, yes, I want to hear from you on your email list, do yourself a solid and actually email them. So this is where you're going to kind of figure out, what does that look like? And so this could be focusing on emailing your list every single week when you release your new blog. It could be when you have making sure that you share your new video every single week. If you got a podcast episode, sharing that every week. Remember, you're creating new content every week, so you can just email your audience about that. And then if it feels good to you, you can always take it a step further and include additional story or additional resources to email and stay in contact with your audience multiple times a week. But the bare minimum is once a week. That's what we believe over here. Highly, highly recommended to keep a strong and healthy email list. All right? And I'm going to wrap this up. Those are the 7 pieces, but here's what I want you to remember in this last piece, is that every day you're ultimately taking 3 actions. Growing your email list, constantly making sure that you're bringing in new subscribers. You're nurturing your existing email list, like we talked about with the weekly email, right? You're nurturing your audience, and you're working on making a sale. If you follow this 7-part marketing strategy, you get your systems in place, you make sure that you're creating content to get in front of your new audience members, right? That awareness stage, utilizing Pinterest, utilizing these search engines where people are looking for solutions. Then you're attracting them with your lead magnet, and then you're showing up for them on social media, maybe through your email list, through video, and you're nurturing them and telling them about your offers on a regular basis and leading them to the sale. You'll be successful. There you have it, a 7-part marketing strategy that I expect you to steal from me. I've given you the step-by-step. Now go through and apply it to your business. To support you in the very, very first step, if you remember back all the way at the beginning, creating your workflow, I have a free guide for you. Go to brandmerry.com/repurpose and get your hands on my repurposing guide, which is going to walk you step by step through the process of creating your workflow. So again, go to brandmerry.com/repurpose. And if you want to learn more about Brandmerry Academy and how you can join, head to brandmerry.com/academy. And I will see you next week in another video.